The paper proposes a progressive domain adaptation framework for thermal infrared (TIR) object tracking, known as PDAT. This framework addresses the domain shift issue in TIR tracking by leveraging large-scale labeled RGB datasets to learn tracking universal priors and transferring them to TIR tracking using unlabeled TIR data. The PDAT framework consists of three main parts: Segment Anything Model, SAM, based data preprocessing, Adversarial-based Global Domain Adaptation, AGDA, and Clustering-based Subdomain Adaptation, CSDA. The AGDA module uses an adversarial learning approach to roughly narrow the feature distribution of the overall TIR and RGB domains. However, simply aligning the global domain feature distribution is not sufficient for tracking tasks that require fine-grained features. Therefore, the CSDA module is proposed to align features in the subdomain with similar categories for getting more fine-grained feature transfer. The proposed global domain adaptation and subdomain adaptation modules progressively align the feature distributions of the TIR and RGB domains in a progressive training manner. The PDAT framework is evaluated on 5 TIR tracking benchmarks and demonstrates favorable performance. The main contributions of this work include proposing a progressive domain adaptation framework for TIR tracking, proposing an adversarial-based global domain adaptation and a clustering-based subdomain adaptation module, collecting a large-scale unlabeled TIR dataset, and generating a pseudo-label training set through the SAM model. PDAT-CAR, a novel domain adaptation framework, is proposed for thermal infrared (TIR) tracking, aiming to transfer knowledge from RGB datasets. The framework consists of global domain adaptation and subdomain adaptation modules. The global module aligns source and target domains using a domain adversarial loss, while the subdomain module fine-tunes the alignment using a clustering-based label selection mechanism. The method is evaluated on 4 TIR tracking datasets, including LSOTB-TIR100, LSOTB-TIR120, PTB-TIR, and VOT-TIR2017, demonstrating state-of-the-art performance. On LSOTB-TIR100, PDAT-CAR outperforms the baseline SIAM-CAR with an absolute gain of 6% and 5% in precision and success rate, respectively. The subdomain adaptation module is formulated as a minimization problem, using the LMMD method to calculate sample weights. The training strategy involves progressive training of the global and subdomain modules, optimized using a composite loss function. Experimental results on LSOTB-TIR100 and other datasets show that PDAT-CAR achieves superior performance. Ablation studies confirm that the subdomain adaptation module is crucial for improving tracking performance. Qualitative comparisons, as seen in Figure 4 and 5, demonstrate that PDAT-CAR achieves more precise tracking results, reducing interference from background clutter and similar distractors. Table V presents the effectiveness of each component, with both the global and subdomain adaptation modules contributing to improved tracking performance. Overall, PDAT-CAR demonstrates superior performance in various tracking benchmarks, showcasing good domain transfer capability and robustness in different scenarios. This research proposes an unsupervised dual-level domain adaptation framework for thermal infrared (TIR) target tracking, aligning RGB and TIR domains on both feature and semantic levels. The framework utilizes a partial domain adaptation network to address the negative transfer problem, employing sample-level feature reweighting and channel-level feature selection to enhance similar samples and filter unshared features. An ablation study on the label selection mechanism in clustering-based subdomain adaptation demonstrates the importance of accurate class labels for subdomain alignment. The proposed method is compared to state-of-the-art trackers on the VOT-TIR2017 dataset, showcasing its effectiveness. The authors also analyzed the network architecture, highlighting the benefits of progressive domain adaptation for feature alignment and transfer effect. Furthermore, the paper emphasizes the significance of self-supervised selection of similar samples and features for domain alignment in tracking tasks without class labels. Recent advancements in object tracking have led to the development of various algorithms and benchmarks, including the high-performance long-term tracking with meta-updater approach and the infrared object tracking algorithm with temporal features fusion Siamese network. Attention mechanisms, such as those employed in the transformer tracking with cyclic shifting window attention and mixformer methods, have also been explored. Benchmarks like the large-scale high-diversity thermal infrared object tracking benchmark, LSOTB-TIR, and the thermal infrared pedestrian tracking benchmark, PTB-TIR, provide evaluation frameworks for object tracking algorithms. The GRAD-CAM method has been proposed to provide insights into the decision-making process of deep networks. The Deep Subdomain Adaptation Network for Image Classification addresses the issue of domain shift in image classification by learning a subdomain invariant representation.